Music by the Cool.
Hello, and welcome to Yes, That's My Kid podcast, the number one podcast in parenting, childhood development, and raising mixed children. Yes, I said it. We are number one in all of those things.
Fact.
You heard it here first. All right, so that's what we talk about in this podcast. If you are new to this, welcome. If you are not new to this and you've been here with us for the last 4 episodes, thank you. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Oh, let's rewind that back a little bit because who am I? Asia. The co-host is Anthony. And behind the scenes, we have our producer, Jacob. Now, like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yes, do all that. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And yes, all that. Alrighty. So, Asia, how are you? It's Saturday?
Yes, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
We don't usually record on Saturdays, but here we are, 10:37.
Yep.
And I'm well. Let me tell you why. On Saturdays, we go to swim. Every Saturday we go to swim with our daughter Autumn, and she did really well this week. She was kicking so much, and it's like doing her safety sits off of the ledge of the pool, and just being very active and vocal. So I love when I can tell she's having a good time. So that was really fun, and also just a joyous moment of this week. It's been kind of hell with me at work. I've been working so many hours, and I've been tired. I've been like exhausted mentally and just like physically. I fell asleep today. I didn't even mean to. I was just like knocked out on the couch while they went grocery shopping. I was like, dang, I needed that. I do have to do a little bit more work, but I needed that sleep. So
Thanks.
I'm awake and alive right now. I feel good.
That's what's up. Do you know how to swim?
All right. So I think I can save my life.
No.
No, listen. I think I can save my life. I did take lessons a while ago.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing why I say I think I can save my life because I know the steps, but I just have to make sure I don't panic. Right. Okay. And then I'm good. Then I save myself.
So at the end of the day, you can't really swim. Like you can't just like jump into a 12-foot pool and have a good time.
You know what I used to be able to do?
You not answering
swim
these questions.
Under the water. I can't swim on top of the water. I can swim under the water.
You know what they call that? They call that drowning in most times.
No,
swim under the water for a long time.
I can't. All right. So where I grew up at, we would go to the high school as our community pool, and to go into the deep end, you had to be able to swim all the way from the shallow end to the deep end. I always passed the test.
Oh snap!
I was in the deep end.
So you can swim.
I told you I could save my life. What I did though, after I passed the test, I would hang along the border of the pool and the deep end.
Oh, I get it. So you held your breath long enough to swim underwater. You probably come up for some air, but still make it to the end.
Yeah, and I make it all the way through. But you want to be in the deep end because no one else is there. Everybody's in the shallow end. So once I get there, I'll try a couple of things. I'll reach the bottom of the pool, come back up, and then I'll just like hang around on the edge of the pool.
Yeah, I don't know how to swim at all.
Oh.
I think I can swim enough to save my life. That's what I think. Maybe.
Oh, so you can say that?
I guess, but I started off saying I don't know how to swim though.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we used the fire hydrant a lot when I was
absolutely.
a kid. That was what we used to refresh. And I think I remember we had like a community pool, of course, and it was just it was pretty like filthy. But
it was disgusting.
Yeah, like 900 kids.
It was disgusting.
In a red Solo cup, basically. But yeah, so I never like learned how to swim. But when my daughter was 6 months, we did put her in like swimming lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she don't know how to swim. But it was just more to like get her comfortable. But the crazy thing is she can't stand, like she doesn't like water in her face. Like when she takes a shower, she can't stand putting the water in her face. We got to like gas her up and be like, all right, come on, you can do this. To literally put her face in the water.
Dang.
But my little man, he likes the water a lot. So hopefully that'll be a difference with him.
Yeah. Do you think you'll put her back in lessons just as a life skill?
Yeah. Okay. I'm planning on taking lessons soon.
Yeah.
Just to learn how to swim because I'm like I want to do like these cool things and feel comfortable. Like I want to go jet skiing and feel comfortable. I want to jump off cliffs and feel comfortable. I definitely can't jump off cliffs at all. Like
I did like a One of the parks around us, I don't know if they closed because I think I heard somebody passed away from jumping off, but
Oh
I did
snap!
it. My brothers are wild, so they were doing it, like, more than once. I did
Wow.
it once, and I closed my eyes the whole time, and my brother was like, "Why'd you do that? Why'd you go down, jump off, close your eyes? Get back up and do it again. Keep your eyes open." I was like,
Now, was it
"Alright."
crazy? Was it crazy for you, like when you went because you had to go lower than 12 feet? Assuming like you jumped that high, you had to go deeper than twelve
Yeah,
feet, which is most pools. Was
yeah.
it crazy for you? Like, were you
Well, it
how'd you
was it
feel?
it wasn't even a pool, it was like, a lake or
Yeah,
something,
I know.
or
That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're in a lake,
sorry.
it had to be deeper than like 12 feet. So,
Yeah, it
like, what?
was.
How'd you feel when you did that?
It was kinda scary, but, I mean, I knew I was gonna come back up.
Yeah.
That's why I closed my eyes the first time, but I was like, "Alright, I did it, like, let's just do it again. Okay, I can do this."
So did you look while you were down there and look up and say, "All right, I'm almost to the top," or like how that work?
No, I'm actually, like, I don't like opening my eyes underwater
Yeah.
because I feel it burns my eyes, like, it used
Okay.
to, at least, so as an adult, I haven't ever tried to open
Okay.
my eyes underwater, so I
Yeah.
was just like, "I know I'm coming up, guy. Like, just keep
Yeah.
I'm coming up." Like, I have faith, I know it.
I'm getting like the skeevies just thinking about it because I can't. It makes me anxious just thinking about that joint, just being underwater, not knowing nothing, and just I've never really I've been underwater, but like mostly in the shallow end. I've never really been like
Mm,
deep, so I can't really imagine it.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely have to wear the, life jackets
Yeah,
on the boats and stuff.
shoot. You ever
Yeah.
went jet skiing?
No, Michael's
Okay,
uncle, he has jet skis, and he want us to do it, but it's just a little too cold.
okay,
I wanna try it, but I think I would be a little scared of the speed, I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie, like, and I don't wanna fall off at all.
yeah. Nah, I feel you. I'll be in that same boat. But yeah, all that stuff is pretty dope though. So that's why I'm talking
Yeah.
to I'm gonna sign up for like summer lessons so I can like indulge in some of those things. And I want my daughter to sign
Yeah.
up too. My wife knows how to swim. I don't.
Nice.
My daughter does not either. So we both got to take swimming lessons too.
Yeah.
So yeah, just so we can like do some cool things that we'd like to try out.
Yeah, I feel that.
So now let's get into tonight's topic.
Okay,
So
okay.
tonight's topic is what do you think about the societal expectations and views of mothers and fathers? Are they
Okay.
different? Do they matter? What are your thoughts on it? On
Hmm.
them?
I think I would like for you to answer first. Set the tone,
Okay.
set the
Set the
tone.
tone. All right. So for me, and I thought about this question already.
Okay.
I break it up into three stages. So the first stage, basically like your 1 to 6 months, right? So from not even 1 to 6 months, from delivery to 6 months. Even
Mhm.
if we talk about pre-delivery, that's a whole nother topic as well. It's along the same lines, but it'll just take forever, right?
Right.
So going from birth to 6 months, right? Just to answer the question, there is the expectations of a mother and a father are very different. Um, Speaking from my own personal experience, I looked at it more as just a mother instinctually knew what to do, right?
Mm.
So I was more than willing to help for everything, but I automatically assumed, all right, so Amy, how do I stop making this baby cry? When
Mhm.
am I supposed to feed the baby? How often do I change the diaper? Like I just kind of assumed that she would know all these things, like just right off the gate.
Mm.
When the reality is she's in the same situation as I
Right.
am. Like
Right.
we this is both our first kid.
Mhm.
So I think generally society's expectations from that 1 to 6 months is that a mother's gonna be on top of everything and just know right from the jump. Even if you talk
Yeah,
about even like if you're talking about like family at times too. I think family kind of forgets that this is your first kid too. For
exactly.
for a man, it's not right. For a man, oh you here? Oh you doing great. Like that's
Mhm.
everything. Like you just right here.
Mhm.
You rubbing your wife back. Oh that's the type of man I need. You know what
Oh
I'm
gosh.
saying? Whereas you literally expect the mother to know it all essentially. What do
Yeah.
you think
And
about that?
so I absolutely agree with that statement. And I went through a similar situation with my husband, Michael. We Before we had Autumn, we were kind of like, oh yeah, these are the things we would do, right? Like I said before, we had her during the PND. So I think that our dynamic towards kind of changed as far as what we wanted to or expected to do. And it's because he couldn't be so much involved in the doctor's appointments. I kind of think
Mm,
that things changed in his mind of like what he should be doing and maybe also how excited he was about a baby. Like I know he was, and I'm not gonna say he wasn't, but I think that all the steps that he would have done if it was just like a normal pregnancy
sure.
and delivery kind of changed. So with that being
Because
said,
like for example, like they wouldn't let you they would only have like certain people or a number of people like, and if you're going for appointments and stuff, correct?
Yeah, he couldn't
Yeah.
come. He only went to the
Right.
first one. He only went to the first sonogram. So at
Okay.
least he did that. So he heard
And
Autumn's
it's not for lack
heartbeat
of
in the
trying, it's just because
pictures.
they wouldn't allow.
No, just they wouldn't. But he would drive me to the appointments, but he was also
Okay.
working. So just like
Yeah.
it just the intensity, I guess, for me just did not feel the same
Mm.
as it started with, because he was super excited and it was showing,
Right.
and we would talk about things constantly. So it felt like we were on that journey together, and it kind of
Sure.
like faded.
Okay.
But why I said I agree is that he would do the same thing. He would ask me a lot of questions like, "All right, so all right, what should we do now?" Like, we are both clueless.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
neither one of us know, and
Yeah.
all that I'm doing to figure this out is like Googling things, looking things up. I'm on Instagram, like, you can do that too, and I think I recall one time where I kinda, like, I lost a little bit on him because
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of things. One, I was just extremely tired. I breastfed, and so I was on all day long with Autumn.
Right.
And also, again, postpartum depression, and I wasn't really talking to many people about it.
Right.
And I don't think it helped that he was so happy all the
Mm.
time
Okay.
while I was
Okay.
feeling, like, down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one time, I remember he was coming to get her so I could nap. I think I just finished feeding her. I was in the bed. I forgot exactly what he said to trigger me.
Mm.
I think he asked me a question, and I lost. I was like, Just get out, just get out." Like I just
Yeah.
needed to rest. I needed him to be out of my face, but also I didn't want that pressure of just having to know the answers all
Sure.
of the time. And I
Yeah.
felt that in those like first few months, he was just like, "Okay, so what should we do now?" And just so happy.
Right.
And I was just like,
Right.
I don't
Like
know.
for him it was like a cool adventure, but for you it
Mhm.
was like this is every second, every day, everything. Like
Yes.
it's consuming you. For him it's like,
Yes.
hey, so now what do we get to do? What
Yes.
do we get to do versus me? Like versus you, you're like, I have to do like you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Mhm.
just it's constant like it's like if you're driving somewhere for 24 hours, your attention is always on, always on. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I understand
Exactly.
that. That's wild. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's interesting that as males, both kinda did the same thing.
Yeah.
Just thought we would naturally know even though it was all of our first time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure where that stems from. I think it's just society's expectations, right?
Mhm.
Society expects mothers to know how to do these things instinctually, right?
Mhm.
So I think maybe that's where it stems from. Um, Deeper than that, I can make assumptions. For me, I'm not sure what Michael's background is, but for me, my mother, it's always been my mother doing
Mhm.
everything, right?
Mhm.
In the household. So I think that might have had something to do with it. I would assume that it would have to. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would assume that it would have to. But going to what you said about we don't have to go deep into it, but talking about like your postpartum,
Yeah.
and I think you might have mentioned like nobody necessarily checked up on it,
Mhm.
but I think that's another expectation too. Like just on top of knowing everything, I think mothers seriously are expected to be able to handle everything,
Yep.
and I think that people in general check in on the father, which is when
Always.
you think about it, it's crazy, right? Like, why are you
Always.
checking up on him?
How's it
Like,
being a dad? New dad,
yeah,
you love
right,
how's it going?
for sure, for sure. Well, for Ya, it's like you're expected to handle everything, right? You're
Mhm.
expected to mentally being able to handle everything, no fatigue, no nothing. Like,
Right.
so it's no questions that come to you or nothing.
Mhm. And I think that I think it society plays a role. Like we're so conditioned to conform to gender roles. And that started out from our childhood, from these classic animated movies, from these giants that I won't name because I don't want them, taking our shit down.
Right.
But those
You
movies.
said us already.
Right, exactly. And
Take care of that.
even the movies that are of what humans acting out, like moms are made out to be superwomen,
Yeah.
and they are made to take care of the household and take care of this baby,
Hmm.
a- and just do it with a smile on their face,
For sure.
right? While dad gets to do other things. Dad gets to work, come home, and just be happy to be there,
Hmm.
seemingly, right?
Yeah.
And I I also experienced that a bit from family members. I won't even say whose side, doesn't matter, right? Family members who would just
Family.
in my face. They was playing me in my face, dog. They would be like, "Oh my gosh, Michael, you're such an active dad. You're doing such a great job. Oh, I love how you do so much with Autumn." It's like, number
Yeah.
one, isn't he supposed to do that? But number two,
Yeah.
am I not standing right here?
I'm dead. You pointed the finger.
Oh, I'm like, but am I not here?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think when people would notice my face, because it'd be either I do a fake smile or I'm literally just like deadpan, like
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
be like, "Oh, you both are doing a great job.
Yeah.
No, you both are doing such a wonderful job with Autumn.
Right.
She's such a good girl." And it's like, nah, I was an afterthought.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that doesn't feel good.
Right. No, I get it. I fully understand that, and I've seen it firsthand, and I've acknowledged the fact of what's happening. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's not. I think if anybody says that that doesn't happen, I think they're not being realistic, or they don't have experience in that area. Because, like I said, I mean, not like I said, but I could do my daughter's hair. It's just simply doing her hair. Whereas a mother doing a hair, that's expected. But a
Right.
father doing a hair, that's something completely different. Like, oh my gosh, da, da, da. Granted, I'm nice. I'm nice at it. But
No, you are. You're pretty decent. I gave that little shady look, but you
right?
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but anything, right? It could just be going out with her. You know what I'm saying? Going out with either one of my
Yeah.
kids or both of my kids. And the looks are completely different. It's an actual look versus if it's my wife going out with them, or women in general going out with their kids. That's the expectation. Yeah, she should be with her kids. You know what I'm saying? She should be with them.
Yep.
Versus if it's a father, it's like, wow, look at him.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
My question is, as far as outside people that you don't even know, strangers, when
Yeah.
you go to places and you see that they are happy, do you think a part of it is because if if they don't have it in their own relationships, that's something that they're seeking? I feel like that's what we see in movies, and this is why I'm asking this question, is that in movies, when we see a dad pushing a stroller, with their kid in it, it's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so adorable." And I think that we're made to believe that that's so amazing. Like, of course it is, but we're made to believe that is unbelievably amazing
Wow.
because that's the type of person that they're looking for. If they don't
Mm.
have that, they're looking to have a man who takes care of their child as much as they see the stranger is.
Mm.
Because they always like have the attractive man be like a dad with the kid, or even I don't know what movie it was. It was a Hitch or something. I don't know. Like the guy, it wasn't even his kid,
Yeah.
but he saw as soon as he had the kid and was like pushing the baby around, like all these girls flocked to him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess,
So
do
I
you think
really
that plays
can't,
a part?
in terms of it being looked at as something amazing, because that is potentially what people are kind of looking for within their own lives or relationships. I think that's a potential. I really don't have the experience to like speak on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have the experience to speak on that. I mean, I would think so.
Yeah.
But I really can't even speak on that specifically. But I never actually thought about the portrayal of that in movies. That was super interesting. Your take on that. I never thought, because it's true. Like it's looked as a super ideal when you look in movies.
Yeah.
It's super regular though for women to be walking with their kids in a park, but they make it like a huge thing in movies and stuff when a dad is walking with their own kids in the park. But going back to what you said before, when you said like when people used to like big up Mike and stuff like that, you were like, isn't that what he's supposed to do? That's literally how I looked at it. And low key, I felt like super uncomfortable when people would say stuff to me, because it's like, and even if it was positive, I'd just be like, it's just weird, because I'm like, this is what I wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I actively chose to have this kid, so
Yeah.
all the responsibility is with us collectively.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he felt the same way too, especially
yeah,
once I brought it up to him, because after the conversation that I had with him about how that was making me feel, he would literally be like, "Okay, well, Asia's doing this too. These
yeah.
are all
That's
the things
awesome.
that Asia does. Like
Yeah,
Autumn's doing this because Asia does this with her."
right,
Like, "Oh, you got my back,
right,
babe. Thank you." Yeah.
right. No, that's dope. No, that's what it is. That's what you got to do, though. You really do. Like it's otherwise you'll be an afterthought, like you said.
Mhm.
Right or wrong, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So then the second part of like how I broke this up
Mhm.
was along the lines of like from a physical aspect, right?
Okay.
So, like the expectations and views of mothers and fathers from a physical aspect, right?
Mm,
So what I mean by that is, and I'll just give an example, dad bod. I think that basically
mm,
summarizes everything if you actually think about it.
mm,
Um, Men and fathers, that's they're the only one of the two of mother and father to be. The expectation is for them to get into worse shape than they were before giving birth, before their wife gave birth. Their expectation is to stay in worse shape.
mm.
It's looked as kind of like a badge of honor because it
Yeah.
indicates that you're a good father.
Mhm.
And it's an attractive thing because like at least that's what's portrayed. Like some women say, I want a guy with a dad bod.
Yeah, I'm nodding,
You
but definitely not attracted, but I'm
for
nodding.
sure, yeah, yeah, no, I feel
I
you, I
agree
feel
with
you.
I agree with your statement.
I I wouldn't be either, to be honest. Like, I mean, to each their own. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But it is there. Like, it is certainly like an indication. It's definitely looked at way more favorably if you're an out of shape guy with sweatpants, but you're playing with your kids. It's like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, he's a great dad.
He's
I
in
can
their
tell.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Whereas if it's a mother who's out of shape, or I don't want to say out of shape, but I'll say not in the shape she was prior to giving birth,
Mhm.
because you can still be in great shape, but
Yeah.
just not be like you were prior to birth, right? So if you're not how you were prior to birth and you're wearing sweatpants and stuff like that, and this is just coming from my male perspective and what I've heard from people,
Yeah.
it looks as though like okay, she's upset, like she doesn't like being a mom, like
Mm.
she's sad, she I feel bad for the kids because she's not there.
I agree with that, and I also think for the women, a couple of things play, a part in wanting to make sure that a woman keeps, like, her figure, right? So, there's one thing of staying fit for the man. It's like,
Mm,
for lack of a better term, fuck them kids, but you look good for your man though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still look
yeah,
good for him.
that's
You
true. Yeah,
still is doing what you have
yeah,
to
yeah.
do to make sure he's interested, right? That's a
Mm,
priority for a lot of people. I also believe that and, we see women every day on TV screens and what society believes a woman's body's supposed to look like. So that's added pressure.
yeah,
And then you also have this whole era of snapback that, I think I kind of fell into it. I think I've been gifted by God and my parents some natural genes that I was healthy before and I did work out before, but like I came back quick, like within 2 weeks. I think I posted a picture on Instagram. It's like my stomach's quite flat, right?
hmm,
But I kind of wonder why I did that. Right? Is
mm,
it because all so many
mm,
people like, oh, snap back, look at me, just 2 weeks
yeah,
after pregnancy, look how I look, right? It's like, did I fall into that trap? Or like because was I proud that I looked like this? Or was I kind of like just going through the motions? Like, why did I actually do that?
yeah,
And I think it's probably because of the pressure of people being like, "Oh, you gotta like these are the things you have to do, right, to get
yeah.
back into shape, right?" And I think I even remember mentioning when I went back to work after 4 months and talking to HR, they're like, "Oh, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, look," she was like, "You look great." And I was like, "Yeah, I actually weigh less than I did before I got pregnant."
Wow.
And I think I said that proudly
Mm.
when I said that, and
Hmm.
the HR person was like, "Oh, it's just stress," and I was like, "Hmm." Shit. I mean, maybe you're
Yeah,
right.
makes it
Stress and
some valid to that.
breastfeeding. I'm like, sure. I mean,
Yeah,
probably right. But I was excited. I was like, I'm not
yeah.
really doing anything but being a mom, but here I am. My body is slim.
Right, right, right.
And it's like
So,
stupid, right? Like
so
you
yeah,
should be
yeah.
focused on doing your best as a parent and doing your best for yourself. But here I am trying to say like I still look acceptable
Right.
to society.
Yeah. So you kind of think, as you're thinking back on it, you think that that's what it was. That why you felt like that was it was solely because of that. Really, primarily, I think I'm asking.
Um, yeah, I mean, everything I'm saying right now is like real time thoughts.
Yeah.
So I didn't really put too much thought. I try
Yeah,
not
yeah.
to revisit my feelings then sometimes,
Sure.
but yeah, I think it was a bit of pressure and
Yeah.
expectations of even some friends around me because it's like,
Mm.
Asia, you're so healthy, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
After don't even worry about weight or stretch marks because I'm not gonna even lie. Before I got pregnant, I was like, Dad, I'm about to have stretch marks and stuff. And they're
Hmm.
like, that's okay. You're gonna look so good. You're so healthy. You work out all the time. People always say that about me. You're so healthy.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all don't know me. I be snacking on these chips all the time. What you talking about? I'm not that healthy.
That's
But I
funny.
think I still felt some pressure to be like, okay, like if nobody else is getting back into shape, it better be me because
Yeah.
people think that I have a decent
Mm.
body prior to
Okay.
pregnancy. So
Yeah.
now she's here. I can't be looking crazy.
I got you.
You
I
know.
got you. Yeah, no, that's real. Oh, so do you think that that mindset, that thought that mothers are supposed to snap back, do you think that that is a mindset of, in general, fathers, or just people who might not have kids or something like that?
Do I think that's a mindset of fathers, like as far as what their spouse
Like
or
their thought,
girlfriend should look like?
not maybe not even them, because
Okay.
I think that sometimes people tend to disassociate their actual thoughts versus their reality.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
you may think, not you, but a man
Mhm.
may have a wife and
Mhm.
say, and look at somebody else and say, dang, they haven't even they've been a while, like, you know what I'm saying? They had their kid a year ago. What's the problem? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then they got a wife who they've been with, who's had a kid 3 years ago, and they ain't snapped back.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So do
Yeah.
you think that that is a mindset in terms of that expectation of, I guess, kind of like single people, or people, or specifically males, fathers or single men?
I kind of think you can lump all men into it.
Mm,
Men start off as single before they enter these relationships, and prior to entering these relationships, they probably had a specific view.
hmm
And I think I say that because I've heard people in relationships kind of be like, they will say make a comment about a woman, about
hmm
her weight, right? And it's like, oh, she has 2 kids, and they're like, yeah, like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like to your
Mm,
point. So
yeah,
it's still a thought. Like,
yeah,
why does
yeah,
she look like this
yeah,
so many years later? I
yeah.
think the pressure is still there for the women to snap back.
hmm I feel you. The reason I ask that is 'cause I do
Mhm.
think that, to your point, I think you can lump in that aspect men together.
Mhm.
I think that when you become a father, you're more aware,
Mm.
but I do think it leaves your mind at times. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Because I've had friends who have said things like that, even though they've had kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Even though,
think though
you know what I'm saying?
sorry, I think
Yeah,
that, men who are fathers are probably more encouraging though
yeah, for
than
sure.
men or men
Definitely.
who don't have fathers rather. I mean, men who don't have children rather. I
Yeah.
think they're more encouraging to help
hmm
the wife or woman in your life, kinda get back into the shape that they were or
Or not
healthy
even, right?
shape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about to say,
wait,
or
yeah,
just,
healthy. Yeah.
or I think a part of that, though, I think a part of that aspect of helping get back to where they were, or not even where they were, just to feel good, right? Just feel good about
Mhm.
yourself. You don't even got to get back to where you were, because,
Yeah.
and this is something I've come to realize just in general. I mean, and I think a lot of men don't truly understand what a woman's body goes through when it has a kid.
Mhm.
You're creating an
Mhm.
entire life.
Mhm.
Your organs are being moved all around inside of you. So
Boy,
things
you
that
feel it.
weren't there, like weren't lower or higher, organs that
Mhm.
weren't there, they're there now. So it's
Mhm.
not just like, hey, I'm gonna lose some fat. Like, you literally are organs in places that weren't there before. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
Yeah.
not exactly where they were.
Yeah, some
And
women have, like, ab separation, so, like,
that's what I mean.
it
Yeah,
can't
like,
really actually go back to where it was.
exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I think that that is something that I think fathers kind of are more aware of. But
Mhm.
my point in saying that is that, like, so it's not ever getting back to what you were. It's just trying to make them feel better as
Yep,
well. And I
I can
think
agree.
with that, it goes to the mental aspect, right? Because
Mhm.
I tend to think that if you feel good about yourself physically, it helps your mental space out, right?
I agree. Look
So
good, feel good.
yeah, so I think
Mhm.
generally when a father tries to do that, it's all encompassing, right? So it's helping the wife, obviously,
Mhm.
or the mother of your child. It's helping
Mhm.
her out. It's helping you out as a from a mental space, because you don't have somebody who's completely upset and depressed
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And it's helping the kid out, right? Because you got two happy parents and stuff like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, going into the third stage is the like parental expectation aspect of it, right?
Mhm.
So with the parental expectation aspect of it, I feel as though there are definitely big differences. And this is where we kind of get to cultures too. So the parental
Okay.
expectation aspect of it, I feel as though, and when I say that, I mean after 6 months, right? You've kind of gotten into a routine of bathing the kids, feeding them, reading to them at night, just kind of working on their cognitive skills and stuff like
Yep.
that. I think the expectation for fathers is still much lower, and I'm interested to see what other dudes comment about this.
I agree.
Yeah, but I think the expectations of fathers, like in the stage of like 6 months plus, I feel like
Mhm.
a father could get away with just reading a kid a bedtime story, and he's
Mhm.
amazing. That's really what I
Mhm.
think, right? You don't got to worry about feeding them. You don't got to worry about cooking dinner. You don't got to worry about bathing them.
Mhm.
I happen to do most of those things. I don't cook. My wife cooks everything.
Mhm.
I cook sometimes. I'm just not that good. She's better than me at it. But I bathe all my kids. I do their hair, stuff like that. Because I enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
But and the reason I say it's cultural is because my mother-in-law, like when I was first bathing my daughter, she looked at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" She didn't say it to me. She was cool about it and stuff, but I just know what the vibe was like.
Mhm.
What are you doing bathing your daughter? Like you out of your
Mm.
mind. And just
Mm.
for the listeners, my wife is Hispanic, so I do think that the expectation to actually do things for the kids is
Mhm.
much lower for a man than it is for a woman. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I agree. And again, to conditioning, when we think about products that are marketed and how they're being marketed,
Mhm.
they're like household baby products and like laundry products at one point was exclusively marketed towards women. Like women were in these campaigns. And so I think that helped push the agenda that women are supposed to be doing all these household duties. Also, it comes from past times where women didn't have jobs and their jobs was just to be a stay-at-home mom. I
Mhm.
think a lot of people still believe that that's what a woman is supposed to do, even if now we work just as much as it's like, okay, but you actually belong in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? I think a
Mm,
lot of people still
mm,
hold that mindset.
mhm,
And so I definitely agree with your statements, but over here we don't really adhere to those gender roles.
mhm.
Um, my husband does all of the cooking,
I'm about to say, I
honestly.
know your man's be throwing down in
Yeah,
the kitchen, so
yeah, he
that's
does
a
all the
gift.
cooking. I think I'm a better cook, but, your girl a little lazy.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I am. It takes me forever, though. The thing is, like,
Oh, okay,
he's
okay.
he's quick,
Yeah,
but I, like, chop things up so slowly. I gotta have
yeah.
them in their spaces. I'm also cleaning while I'm cooking,
But he
so it
wants y'all
takes
to eat dinner.
forever.
He wants y'all to eat dinner tonight.
Exactly. And I don't mind just eating, I ain't gonna lie. "Thanks, babe." Like,
Right?
and as far as, bath time, like the whole bedtime routine, we both share those duties. I
Okay.
think we both truly enjoy being there, bathing
Yeah,
her. We talk to her while we're bathing her. Actually, like we both help her get dressed. He does her
yeah.
diaper. We both read books to her, and then he'll puts her down. And I think that he still puts her to sleep because when we were trying to wean her off of breastfeeding,
Yeah.
I couldn't be in the room where she would just literally want me to breastfeed her.
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
that kinda just stuck with us, like, I'll stay up until a point, and then he'll actually, like, put her down to sleep. But we do a lot of things together as parents, and I believe because we both subconsciously just wanna make sure that Autumn sees us doing things, like, we're both active parents to her. I know
Okay.
that he has his reasons, but for me, my parents weren't ever together as far as I remember.
Mhm.
They weren't married, they were together at some point, and I was in the household with them, but as far as I remembered, I went back and forth between my mom and my dad, so I've always kinda wanted an image of I
Mm,
guess, a nuclear family, like, just a
yeah.
whole family doing things together and actually enjoying each other's
Sure.
time and
Yeah.
company, yeah.
No, that's real. So, do you think there are any like cultural differences between um Michael's Polish side and their expectations versus your side and I guess kind of your cultural expectations? And I'm just gonna preface it with there were definitely differences in expectations. You know, to be honest, and I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Like because of my situation, I shouldn't say
Mhm.
my situation. It's very similar, to, right?
Right.
It's very similar to a lot of other people's situations. And when I say my situation, I'm talking about like growing up as a kid and stuff,
Yeah.
and being just like my father being in and out, kind of, sort of,
Mhm.
and then having a stepfather who was, you know what I'm saying, had issues with.
Yeah.
I never had an idea of what a father was supposed to be.
Mhm.
So my expectations weren't, I didn't have any expectations for what I was supposed to be doing, even
Yeah.
culturally. You know what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
didn't know really
Wait,
what they were supposed to be.
before you go into your culture part, if I can have you digress a little bit. In our
Mm,
last episode, you mentioned, and I know you said this before, you mentioned TV dads.
yeah.
So is that playing a role in your expectations? And if
Mm.
so, who are the TV dads that like come to mind for you?
So yeah, they definitely play a big part of it. To be honest, like I've never thought about being a father prior to becoming a father. Like that was just
Mhm.
nothing that was in my head. When I my wife and I actively decided to have kids, but I never thought about being a father really.
Mhm.
Um, so when I became a father, like Furious from Boys in the Hood, that was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad. I
Uh-huh.
loved how he was like just smart. He was smart about just black in general, just
Mhm.
his society, right? His specific society. He was smart about that, but then he kind of he was still aware of like things that his son was kind of going to get into,
Mm,
and
mhm.
he spoke to him about it,
Yep.
but he kind of like he just kept it real with him, and I don't want to say let him make his own choices, but he did,
Yeah, he did.
and he right or wrong, and he was there after the fact
Yep.
at all times. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I love that fact of just being real and being there at all times.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, he was gonna be there for him. So he was always down
Mhm.
for him.
I like that.
Yeah, and then I think what was the show? It wasn't In the House. It was Robert though. Was it Parenthood? Parenthood?
Parenthood,
Yeah, yeah.
Parenthood.
Robert.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
him because he was like a
Townsend.
kind of like an
Yeah.
overall dad. He was just like
Yeah.
he was funny, but he was serious and he was knowledgeable. So I liked him. Furious is more serious than him.
Yeah.
And then I liked Michael from My Wife and Kids, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Comedian, jokester.
he was just a jokester. He was a jokester, but he was more of I feel like he was more aware than like Dre from Blackish. Like
Mm.
Dre just seems like
Mm.
he's learning how to be an adult at times as his kids are becoming adults. I feel like Michael was an
Ooh,
adult. He did
okay.
silly things, but
Yeah.
he was still, I think, able to coach his kids more. So it'd probably
Yeah.
be those three dudes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Think that was fun.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
So what was the original question I asked? Did I
I
answer that?
know. We gotta get back. We were talking about cultures and if it was
Oh yeah,
different
yeah.
expectations
Yeah.
culturally.
Oh yeah, so yeah, long story short, I didn't have any expectations for mine.
Yeah.
But my my wife's culture, Hispanic culture, specifically Nicaraguan culture, it
Mhm.
really wasn't that hands-on of a father. Like his role
Mm.
wasn't to be like hands-on doing kids' hair, not even dressing them for school. No slight to them. That just wasn't the expectations of a father in that culture.
Yeah.
So are there any differences in cultural expectations between your husband's and yours?
I don't really think so. I don't think that I can answer that question 100% right now. I don't think that I'm fully immersed in Polish culture. Like
Hmm.
I know some things that's probably just a little bit under surface level if I'm being
Okay.
honest with myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's because, well, first of all, I guess I should be doing my own studying and learning, right? I'm over here. I want people to learn about my culture. I guess I got to
Right.
do the same, like be accountable, right?
Facts.
but also, the family that he has here from his Polish side is
Yeah.
really small. Like his mom's side is small. It and since they've came to America, I think it's kind of always been that way. But it's even smaller now as far as his immediate
Okay.
people who would immediately impact him, his immediate family, like his hopefully it's fine to say. I don't think they would mind, but like his grandparents have both passed away on his mom's side, and
Okay.
his mom only had one sibling, and he recently passed away.
Okay.
So the ties aren't super strong, but they they do still have family in Poland that I know his sister talks to. So I can't say too much about their culture.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if there will be any differences.
Okay.
And I just know that even if there were differences, I don't think it would play a role in our relationship because we both know and are strong on what we want to do as
Hmm.
parents in this household. So even if there were expectations, I don't think we would adhere to them. I don't think we'll follow them in
Yeah.
those specific roles. We'd be like, hey, we are in this together. If you're lacking one day, I'll pick it up. If I'm lacking one day, I know you pick it up. Like
Yeah.
we don't have to do specific things.
Sure. No, I agree with that. So one thing that I said to my cousin, he's my cousin through marriage. So it's
Mhm.
my wife's blood cousin, her husband. So him and I are like brothers. We talk a lot. And one thing that I said was because we know that there are aspects of our upbringing that we don't agree with in terms of like the role of a father and or mother, as well as like the role in our wives' culture that
Yeah.
we don't really agree with as well. We always say like it doesn't matter what the culture is. We're going to make the culture in this house. So it doesn't matter
Exactly.
if it's black, if it's Latino, if it's white, if it's
Yeah.
whatever it is. We're making a culture in this house. So it's
Yeah.
not predicated on any previous culture. You know,
Right. Right.
you're going to make it
Exactly.
up how you feel. You want to handle it
Yeah. Same sentiment.
as a collective. Yeah.
Yep. Same sentiment. And for me, I don't think anybody's wondering, but I had a great dad. He just passed away when I
Hmm.
was young, and he was very active in my life. It was, I guess, I think maybe I've always dealt with like reverse gender roles in a way.
What do you mean? Oh, okay,
So
okay.
so I I think a lot of my time I actually live with my dad, right? Even though I live with my dad and my stepmom, and then I would spend like summers and weekends going to my mom's, right? Which it seems probably opposite than what normally happen if
For
the
sure.
parents break up. The kids tend to stay with the mother,
Yeah.
but I was with my dad mostly, and then there was points where I missed my mom and I wanted to move back with her, so I moved back, and then my father got sick, so then I moved back with my dad, and then he passed away, so then I moved back with my mom.
Mm.
So, but I think the core development years,
Hmm.
which I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, it seems like elementary years. I
Yeah.
was with my dad a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said reverse gender roles.
So,
So
well, I
elaborate on
guess
that.
so. Even in the household with my stepmother and dad, um, my dad cooked a lot.
Okay.
My dad cooked a lot. My dad would sit there and do homework with us.
Mm.
And, I think that's maybe something that like the mom would probably be doing if like the dad's working all the time. Cause like
Sure.
my dad did work a lot, but he was also very active. Like, oh, I took gymnastics lessons. My dad would bring me.
Yeah.
My dad would bring me and watch me and go to the park with me and practice with me, make sure that like I'm doing my back handsprings correctly, helping me out even after
Hmm.
practice. So he was very involved
Yeah.
in that aspect. And maybe that's not expected so much in the Black culture
Of everything.
because of everything, right?
You
I'm
have
like,
to. You can't even
I
say one
can't,
thing.
I can't. I'm just like, this will go down a
Right.
road,
This going
right?
down the hill right now.
Yeah,
Right. So it turns to a
yeah,
whole nother episode.
right.
Yeah. No, I feel you, and I think that's kind of what I meant too in terms of like because I didn't have anything like a direct good example of a father figure,
Hmm.
and culturally what it is, how it is. It's just I didn't really know what the expectation was
Hmm.
from my culture at least as a father. So I would look at
Yeah,
these TV dads and take pieces and bits of them and try to
I think that's really
become
cool
somebody.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, like become the person who you want to be. Like you
one
don't
hundred
have to
percent.
be what was bad in the past.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. This dude Israel Adesanya, he's a
Hmm.
UFC fighter. Uh,
Okay,
he's 185-pound champion.
all
I'm
right,
just
I could beat his ass. No, just kidding.
yeah, chill.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
He uses the line. He created his own character. Like
Mm,
he became like like in
and the
like NBA
games,
Live, yeah,
yeah,
you create your own character, and that's essentially what he did, and that's kind of how I kind of looked at like life. Like you're life is a book, and you just got to become the person you want to be
hmm,
with the story you want to tell. You got to become that person and make sure that that's the story that can be told about it at the end.
yeah.
Yeah,
I really like that point of view because I think it's important and what we've been saying throughout this episode that you don't actually have to live by the expectations that people place on you, that
yeah.
society has for you. Um, you can create your own if you want to, or you just live your life.
Hmm.
Honestly, you don't have to have expectations at all. Just live your life the way you want to, and if it's a must, create your own culture.
That's a
You
bar.
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a bar. It's kind of like what I said, but it's definitely a bar though. It's similar.
Okay. I wrapped it up in a nice little tiny bow for
Yeah,
you.
no, that was fire though. Create your own culture. That's fire. I actually like that. I'd like to get that joint. I want to get that joint as a tat. I ain't gonna lie. Create your own
Mm,
culture. Or I didn't know my culture, so I created one. That's a fire one. I
No,
mean, it
that
probably won't be
sounded
fire.
like a quote, like you can find online. It's not hitting the same. Okay.
All right. So here's our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke. Yay. This is about to be stupid.
What do ticks and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
Ticks and the Eiffel Tower. Ticks and the Eiffel Tower. Fleas and ticks. They stick. They stand. Dang, yeah. I don't really know. This is about to be stupid.
Amazing.
Okay.
They're both parasites. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No, that's a little double entendre, I guess.
Yeah, because it's
I'm gonna tell you.
I
think it's clever. You don't have to tell me. I literally
it's
just
Paris because Eiffel Tower's in Paris.
I
and
get
parasites.
That.
It's a Paris and a site, and it's like parasite. Yeah.
I think it's a clever one. I'll say that. It's definitely a clever one, man. You got it.
It's a great one.
You're a smart one. Smart cookie. I don't know if it's great. I don't think it was that funny. It was clever, but was it funny? It was better than last week.
It was better than last week. It was. And that's your dad joke of the week.
Y'all know what it is around here. Like I said in the beginning, the #1 podcast for parenting, childhood development, and talking about raising our mixed kids. Like, who's doing it like us?
Nobody.
Who?
Nobody. You can't name one.
You can't. Name one. Name one.
I did hear it. No, I didn't. I didn't hear that.
Exactly. Cut it out. Tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you feel like this is not for you, but it could fit someone else's lifestyle, please share. We would definitely appreciate it. Even if you feel like it's not for you, like this joint, comment, let us know what you don't like. Because we interact. We respond to everybody.
Facts. We do. We really do.
We do. So again, for people who are here, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you and look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Yes, That's My Kid podcast.
Oh, yes. That's My Kid podcast. Terrible. Thank you, guys. Okay, bye.
Peace, guys.